What's going on, guys? It's Wayne. I'm going to teach you about my 90-day transformation. On the left, I was around 190 pounds. This was the middle of COVID. I was peak anxiety, peak depression, low self-confidence. Honestly, hated how I looked and how I felt. On the right, 3 months later, started doing Muay Thai kickboxing, started lifting again, newfound confidence, low body fat percentage, and honestly, some of the best I've ever looked in my life. So, the truth about getting in shape that nobody tells you about is that you can regain athleticism at any age. Now, it may not be the same athleticism you were when you were 19 or 20, but you don't have to feel like you're a stiff block that can't even bend over or run anymore. You also can get in very good shape by eating delicious food. You don't need a bland diet, and we don't need any kind of specific diet. We just got to adjust the macros a little bit. But most men fail because they don't understand the simple things: how to log in food and track macros, how to exercise with intent and intensity, and a plan that keeps changing as you progress. Or maybe you have any existing injuries or new injuries that come up. So, the mistake most people make in your position, most people try to lose fat by doing low intensity cardio and eating low calories. But they never check if that plan really works for them specifically during that point in their life. Losing weight and losing weight and losing fat are not the same thing. Doing what most people do to lose weight will make you lose fat and muscle. The problem with this approach is that yes, you'll be losing weight, fat and muscle, which is not ideal, but it's also hard to be consistent with this diet. You don't want to lose a bunch of fat with no muscular base under it and end up having a bunch of extra skin that you're going to have to surgically removed off. Build the muscle, lose the fat, follow the program that's customized specifically for you. What's the best diet? You've all heard of fancy diets like keto, carnivore, paleo diet, and there's some good and bad things about each diet. But like with all diets, they work because they cut out processed food and they cut out refined sugars. But these like keto, carnivore, paleo diets, they're not sustainable diets. But I think I found one that is a little more sustainable. And that's going to be more of a bodybuilder's diet. See, a bodybuilder is someone who is focused on lowering their fat percentage and building their muscle size, which is what basically a body transformation is: low fat, bigger muscles. A bodybuilder's diet's flexible, balanced, likable, and most of all, sustainable. With your food log, I'll understand what foods you like and dislike and what your body works well with. So don't so we don't necessarily have to take out all the foods that you like. We just have to modify them according to your goal. So simple rules: if you want to lose fat, eat higher protein and lower carb. If you want to build muscle, eat medium protein and medium and higher carbs. Consistency in your new diet and training program will be your new superpower. So, just a little simple guide of your customized diet for bulking. We'll just say 90 days of the bulk. You can do less or more time. Focus on recovery and low intensity cardio. Bodybuilding split, so like chest, bicep one day on Monday, legs Tuesday, rest Wednesday, Thursday back and tricep, Friday shoulders and abs, Saturday and Sunday rest. You're open to eat more red meats like steak, beef, bison, elk, and you can basically eat any carb like oatmeal, potatoes, pasta, rice. For cutting, 90 days of the cut. You can do more or less. Usually going to be supersets, back to back exercises, and then rest after those two exercises, or full body circuit training, like five exercises back to back to back. And then at the end of the five exercises, that's one round. You do maybe 30, 45-second rest, and then you go back and complete that for maybe 3 or 4 more rounds. High intensity cardio in terms of like sprints, or maybe just doing whatever cardio you choose at a faster rate, and then doing it at a slower rate when you need a rest. Leaner proteins like salmon, chicken, turkey, eggs, avocado, nuts, anything that's like not gonna sit in your stomach for a long time, like red meat or pork or steak. And then easy digest carbs, white rice, white bread. And we can just see what other carbs that your body reacts well to or doesn't react well to in terms of digesting. Now I'll show you how I optimized each stage so I no longer was being held back by mistakes that I didn't even know I was making. This is a process that I used and I still use for myself and all my clients to optimize training to shred fat and build muscle. So the three stages are training, nutrition, and recovery. So with training, the intent of giving your all. You may think you're giving at 8 to 10, but when I go to the gym and I see people lifting, a lot of times they're just kind of looking around. Is this girl looking at me? Is this dude impressed? You know what I mean? They just kind of like don't really care. Like when I'm doing it and I'm doing like a curl, I'm focusing on the squeeze. I'm slowly going down. I'm focusing on my form, my, how much effort I'm putting on each lift. I'm not sticking with like 20-pound dumbbell curls for 3 sets for like 4 weeks in a row. Every set I'm trying to go a little heavier. Every workout I'm trying to go a little heavier, a little more intense, or a couple more reps or something like that. Find any way in the set that I can improve even a little bit. Form, not recruiting other muscles. Just let's go back to the curl. A lot of people might lean back as they curl and stuff and get that extra, like, no doing that. We're not using momentum to lift. We're not weightlifters. We're more bodybuilders. We're more of flexing muscles and stretching them, increasing the weight each set and each workout, like I said before, adding intensity techniques when your progress starts to plateau, like drop sets, which is, let's just go back, curls for example. I'm doing curls with 40-pound dumbbells. I do it for 8 reps. I put those down. I grab 20-pound dumbbells and do those for 8 reps, just dropping the weight in half. And then also listening to your body when it comes to injuries. Lifting when you feel good. I'm not usually going to lift, especially not going to do like a leg day if I have less than 6 hours rest before legs, because I need a lot of energy to give the most support. Also, if don't have a lot of sleep, a lot higher chance I'm gonna get injured. So nutrition, meal timing. You don't want to overfeed at one time. I don't want to be like not eating the whole day, and then when time is dinner, I'm starving, and then I eat 2 meals in one. Eating the carbs are at the right time. We're cutting. We want to have our carbs mainly before and after training, and then in other meals like breakfast or dinner, we're gonna have lower carbs. Quality ingredients equals quality gains. You can probably not gonna get the same quality muscle if I'm getting 40 grams of protein from Chick-fil-A chicken breast and I am the chicken breast I cook from the store in avocado oil or something like that, or a healthier oil. Having meals and snacks prepared in advance. Usually, when people are getting off of their diet, it's like, oh, I need something quick for lunch during work, and they don't have their meal ready at work already and ready and prepared, or they're at home and they have Doritos and they don't have some other kind of healthy snack or healthy protein option. And that's usually when all like cheating your diet happens. Cheat meals that still match your macros. For our cheat meal, we're not gonna have. I'm just gonna have mac and cheese and only carbs and that's it. Like no, like if you need to get 40 grams of protein, that meal still like get 40 grams of protein. You can still have the mac and cheese or whatever, but we're also not like overly going over our carb limit too. We're just kind of like regressing in progress. Consistently getting the same amount of protein and carbs each day, replacing bad food habits. Instead of drinking soda, drink like a probiotic, digestive soda like Olipop or Poppy or something like that. And then when it comes to recovery, 8 hours of sleep minimum. It's really, sleep is some of the best recovery tool and superpower when it comes to performance, when it comes to strength and gaining muscle. If you're not getting that sleep, it's hard for your muscles to recover and build a bigger size. Once you maximize nutrition and we get all our meals in, then we can start taking creatine and start looking at other supplements that may boost your progress a little more. Active rest day. So a rest day, I'm not talking about just like us sitting on our butt and playing video games or watching TV like all day. That could be going for a walk, like in the picture right here. It could be going gardening, it could be playing basketball, it could be throwing the frisbee in the park, walking the dog, just anything that just gets your body moving. Mobility archive. I'll give you a whole archive and different mobility stretches you can do for your limbs, for your shoulders, for your neck, for your knees. Just so you don't have to feel like a stiff block, like we're lifting, but we can't use our muscles because we barely move them because we're just so tight from lifting. And then allowing muscles to recover before training again. Just listening to your body, making sure that, okay, the sooner I get this next leg workout, the more progress I get. It's not really like that. If we hit our legs really hard this week, we might need a whole week, maybe a week and a half for it to recover. So you just got to listen to your body right there. The cutting phase in training. Like I said before, supersets or full body circuit training. High intensity cardio. So it's going to be sprints, Stairmaster, airdyne bike, jump rope, swimming, and it will be, for example, 8 rounds 10 seconds of really fast pace in the Stairmaster, really fast pace on the Airdyne bike or sprints, and then a light jog for 30 seconds, and then repeat that for 8 rounds. It's really short, but it'll get you in that fat burning zone. We'll also be lifting 2 to 3 times per week because we mainly just want to be cutting fat, but also maintaining muscular size. High intensity cardio 3 to 4 times a week and walks every day. The nutrition part of cutting. Getting a minimum of 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, but it could increase. We just want to see how you progress through the weeks with that 1 gram. If any progress starts to slow down, then we can start manipulating that macro, maybe gaining a little more. Low carbs in every meal except your pre and post workout snacks. More meals per day will be better for digestion. So instead of 3 big meals, maybe you want 4 or 5 smaller meals. And they don't have to be exactly like chicken and rice. They could be like peanut butter and apples or something like that. Drinking water and coffee only. Leaner protein sources like eggs, nuts, turkeys, fish, chicken. And then easy to digest carbs, white rice, white potato, white bread. Bulking phase of training. Bodybuilding split, like I said before. Stretching and still doing the mobility archive to avoid stiffness. Adding functional strength exercises like farmers walks, just to not just to work on grip, just to make sure we're not just working on these muscles that look good. We're working on the interior muscles that makes us strong, keeps our body healthy. Low intensity cardio, which probably just be in the form of walks. You can still do stuff, play basketball, go, you know, disc golf or anything, pickleball or anything that you like to do. Focus on recovery and only lift when the muscle is not sore because we want to break down the muscle in the gym and we want to give it enough time, probably even more than enough time for it to recover, grow back in size, and us to go back and do it again. Contract and slowly stretch the muscles during lifting, like I said before. When I do my curl, I contract it hard and I slowly let it stretch out. And then chase a pump. I just want the blood to rush in the muscle, that tightness that you feel in the muscle in your calves when you do calf raises, in your bicep when you do curls, your chest when you do chest flies. We just want to keep pumping blood and get that muscle pumped up. The bulking phase for nutrition. Eating moderate to high carbs. Carbs is how you gain weight. Maybe we'll gain a little bit of fat on our sides, but it's not going to be anything crazy. It's going to mainly look like the picture that you saw in me before in the mirror. Eating 1 gram per pound of body weight of protein. Probably don't have to go anything more than that, because we're really going to kind of gain a lot of our bulk from the carbs. You can eat almost anything. Like I said, you're allowed to eat red meat. You can even throw some pork in there every now and then. I wouldn't let that be a main supply of protein. You can eat any carb, especially pasta. And then if it's hard for you to gain weight, it's hard for me to gain weight. It's been like that for my whole life. Then I would recommend a mass gainer. I take a mass gainer as a 50 grams of protein, 75 grams of carbs. That helps a lot, especially if it's hard for you to eat all those meals. So even after knowing everything that I told you, you could still be held back from getting the body that you want. And that's because consistency and discipline is the key to success. Not only in achieving your dream body, but your life as well. Imagine a door opens in front of you, and the person who walks out is the very best person of yourself. How do you think that person looks, acts, carries themselves, or even thinks how they think? That person walking out of the door could be you if you stick to the plan.